So, is everything about class? It's that question that kind of hangs in the air, right? It shapes what we want, what we're afraid of. Let's dive right in.
Let me put it another way. Is your life already decided for you just based on where you came from? I mean, that's a heavy one. It really gets to the heart of, well, everything, who we are and who we think we can be.
Okay, so before we can even begin to unpack that, we've got to be on the same page. What do we actually mean when we say social class? Think of it like this. Every society, pretty much, sorts itself into layers. It's basically a pyramid. And it's built on stuff like power, wealth, and who has control over things. And look, this is not just some fuzzy, abstract concept. The numbers are crystal clear. Statistically, the background you come from can give you a huge head start or a huge handicap. It's like we're all in this race, but we don't get to pick our starting line. So what happens when you decide you want to climb that pyramid? Well, that's where things get interesting. And there's this perfect little metaphor that really captures the whole struggle. I call it the yacht and street food problem. It goes like this. Someone who genuinely, truly loves simple street food, but at the same time, they're desperate to be seen on a yacht. You feel that tension? On one hand, you've got this authentic love for something simple. On the other, this burning desire to project an image of luxury and status. And obviously, this isn't really about yachts or food. It's a stand-in for any time we try to level up on the outside, with the fancy clothes, the new job title, the right car, without actually changing anything on the inside. What this does is it creates this massive split inside you. Over here, you have your authentic self, the things you really genuinely love and care about. And over there, you have this performed status, the show you put on for everyone else. And that gap, that space between who you are and who you're pretending to be, man, that's where all the problems start. And here's the thing, this is exactly why that strategy just doesn't work most of the time. When your outside and your inside don't line up, it just feels, well, fake. You start to feel like an imposter. And guess what? People can smell that inauthenticity a mile away. So, okay, if just faking it till you make it is basically a dead end, then what's the real path? Well, the answer is in this really important distinction, a real game changer. Understanding the difference between your identity and your personality. All right, this is the big one. Our world is totally obsessed with identity. Think of it as the outer shell. It's all the labels we collect. Our diplomas, our job titles, our possessions, all that stuff. But the real you, the engine that actually drives you, that's your personality. That's the core. We're talking about your worldview, your character, your self-awareness, your empathy. It's not about what you have. It's all about who you are. And that leads to this key takeaway. True advancement, the kind that actually sticks, is about developing your personality, not just collecting a bunch of labels for your identity. It's an inside job. It's about building your core, not just polishing your shell. But wait a second. Before we all go full on into self-development, we have to deal with a pretty inconvenient truth. What if this whole drive to climb the social ladder isn't just a choice? What if it's something way, way deeper? I mean, it's a legit question, isn't it? Isn't this drive to get to the top just part of nature? Are we just hardwired for this stuff? And the tough answer? Yeah, it kind of is. Dominance hierarchies are a biological reality. This is not something we humans just made up. And you see this everywhere in the animal kingdom. I'm talking lobsters, wolves, you name it. They all have these hierarchies. The only difference is our human hierarchies are just a little more complex. Yeah, this stuff is linked to our basic biology. It's even tied to our hormones, which can literally influence who ends up dominating a group. It's this powerful ancient drive, and we can't just pretend it doesn't exist. So what does that mean? If we're wired for this hierarchy stuff, are we just stuck? Is that it? Game over? Well, no, not even close, because this is where we humans are the exception to the rule. So let's bring it all together. Is hierarchy our fate? We've got statistics on one side, biology on the other. It kind of feels like our destiny is sealed, doesn't it? And you know what? For pretty much any other animal, the answer is yes. Their place is their place. But for humans, the answer is a hard no. Because humans are unique. We have this incredible potential to break that outer shell, that identity, and totally reinvent ourselves from the core, from the inside out. If you take away one thing, let it be this. Class is a starting point. It is absolutely not a life sentence. So what's the path? It's actually pretty simple. Step 1, focus on your inside, not your outside. And step 2, develop your personality, not just your identity. That's the real work.
Which leaves us with one last question. And this one isn't for me to answer, it's for you. If you really can change your destiny, what are you going to build on the inside?